Hello, my name is Jake DiBattista, and today I'm presenting Pitcher Scorecard diagrammed right for the Google Cloud X MLB Hackathon Track 4. The goal of my project was to analyze pitchers from mechanical benchmarks. As a college shot putter, my coach would always tell me to focus on my cues, things like leg drive and hip drive. However, overlays at the MLB always focus on outcomes, things like the pitch velocity. So I wanted to see if we could focus on inputs instead of outputs for this project. I then wanted to use my system to grade the 2022 Clayton Kershaw almost perfect game to see if he should have been pulled. Why did I choose Vertex AI for this? Well, unlike traditional single-frame analysis, Vertex AI evaluates the entire pitching motion at once, using multi-frame processing. This allows us to better capture what was going on during a pitch and look for mechanical breakdown. So how did I do this? Well, step one was to use Vertex AI to track body position. So I added a clip to Google Cloud, trimmed it to the pitch length, and then extracted keyframes before passing it along to Vertex AI. I then prompted Vertex AI to look at those frames as a pitching coach and generate an overlay. Let's take a look at how this came out. So you can see in the bottom left my pitcher fatigue score, which graded this Nestor pitch as tired. His power was low and his balance was poor, and this led to a Freddie Freeman home run, not surprising. So let's go ahead and see what users would say about this. I took this to a fantasy baseball lover as well as a baseball coach and got some feedback. I learned that the number grading systems were confusing and felt arbitrary. What was a 4 out of 10 arm? I also learned that deviation from ideal was a better focus instead of fatigue, as fatigue could be misleading. I also learned to add a bunch of context, as it would be important to grading each pitcher in its own framework rather than just having one right way to grade a fastball. So I went ahead and I built the ideal pitch. I added a player profile from the MLB data, I added game context from MLB data, and I looked at pitch-specific mechanics. This allowed me to generate my final prompt. You can see for the Clayton Kershaw curveball, things like his ideal release point, where he wants his over-the-top arm slot, and things like looking at his leg drive were all now being considered by Vertex AI before judging him. So this was a great final prompt. We then went to implementation and took it back to our pitching coach friend. Would this work? So the first thing I did is I grabbed a 2022 Clayton Kershaw slider from that game, and we looked at it. We could see this slider was slightly off with signs of fatigue and some balance. And my pitching friend coach agreed that this was in fact happening, which was great. He then wanted me to take the model and on the spot apply it to a pitcher that he knew had a great slider to see if it would work. So we took it to Zach Wheeler here in 2021 in the first inning. We configured it to Zach Wheeler's preferences, and we see that he was throwing his ideal slider here, which makes a lot of sense considering this was a highlight video. So the final step of the process was to grade the Clayton Kershaw game from 2022 and evaluate if he should have been pulled. So let's look at that final pitch from the series. We can see he was throwing his signature curveball, and ideally, this came out pretty good. So why was Clayton Kershaw pulled? That's up for his manager to decide. But based on my model, it was a little bit premature. Thank you.